You do it, baby. Don't worry about it. This is.
Hello, everyone. This is Michelle, your host for Together We Are One. And we have our second episode to our motherhood. And we have a young mother, as you may see, that has brought a special guest, Miss Callie, here. And so we are going to try to get this done as much as exciting as possible. And remember, I'm Michelle, your host for Together We Are One. And you are?
Diamond.
And you?
I'm Aleena.
And together we are one. We're excited to have you here. And like I said, Together We Are One is all about being raw, real, and transparent. And so today we're going to be very real, raw, and transparent, especially with our special little guest here, Miss Callie. And Together We Are One is all about educating, encouraging, empowering, and equipping women. And the month of May is all about mothers, right? And what does that really mean? And so today we have a young mother. Last week we had her mom here, Miss Delita Rose Diamonds, and today her daughter Daniels. And today her daughter Diamonds is here. And so welcome to our show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we're going to need you to speak loud so that they can hear you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. And so as you know, we're going to speak about moms, right? And you're a young mom.
Yes.
And we know that moms struggle as it is, but being a single mom is it can be very struggling, very stressful, right?
Yes.
And what was the other thing? Stressful, struggle, and being single.
Yes.
So
I would say frightening too.
frightening, right? It can be very scary. Yeah, very scary being a single mom. It could be very, stressful, and you struggle. You struggle as it is as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're single or not, the truth is that we all struggle. We may think we have it all together. We may look like we have it all together, but we have no idea what we're doing. There could be books out there about being a mother, but it's nothing like being a mother at home, right?
It's your own story.
It's your own story.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about your life, your personal life. Are you going to school? Are you working?
I am actually working. I am also I just finished a course for PCT to be patient care technician. But that's just a small step for me to get to where I want to be. And my end goal is to be an APRN, which is an advanced practice registered nurse. I want to own my own practice one day. So I'm just taking my steps, being a single mom. I had to reroute my ultimate goal, which is okay. Sometimes God guides you in a different direction by your choices that you make, because we have free will. But yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I'm just being a mom. I'm in school. I'm also working full time.
Working full time. So tell me, how has it been for you to be a mom?
Ooh.
So first of all, let's back up. When you first found out that you were with this beautiful, precious seed, how was it? What was your first thought?
Well, I can attest to it was a bit of a challenge. My pregnancy wasn't the best. It was bittersweet. It felt good, once I heard her heartbeat. The very first time I heard her heartbeat, it felt real. It felt like, okay, this is really what my life is going to be like, and I accept it for what it is. I was excited because I've always been a nurturing person. I have siblings. I'm the oldest girl, so being the oldest girl, you end up having to do a lot of the motherly things, and I just have that spirit in me to be a mom. So it kind of came normal to me. It wasn't like a surprise, like, hey, you're gonna be a mom. Like, I just had that mom type of nature. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was a blessing to know that I was carrying my child, But the the pregnancy itself was such a challenge emotionally, physically, and spiritually. I battled, I'll talk about emotionally. I was depressed. Not because I was pregnant and my life got rerouted. That wasn't, a depression. That wasn't why I went into a depression. I went into a depression because, you don't expect to be left behind with, when two people create a child, you expect them to be there, and that wasn't in my situation. It was a challenge, communication wise with him. Her dad, it was just a challenge. So that put me in a big dark place. Like I was in a dark place. I was so nasty. I was just really nasty. I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't really want to go to work. Like I was just, my curtains, like in my room, would just be, I have blackout curtains, so I would keep them closed. I wouldn't want no sunshine. I was just crabby, and you just expect different from people, but unfortunately that just didn't happen that way. So then spiritually, it starts to mess with your spiritual life.
She wants to go to Aleena.
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe not. She's gonna have experience.
Yeah,
share with us.
My spiritual life kind of went into a lost place, I would say. Like I began to be lost. I began to get so caught up in my flesh that I just, God was still there. He was waving. He's like, hello, I'm right here. Like, what are you doing? But I just couldn't see past my flesh. And that's when my spiritual life started to sink. It was always there because, your spiritual life never leaves you. Your relationship with God never leaves you. But, sometimes it once again, it reroutes itself. So, it rerouted because I chose, that reroute because I allowed myself to get to that place of depression and of I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead. Just keep going. Aleena's got her. That's good training for Aleena.
But yeah, so my spiritual life just, it started to be, it got rocky, but it never, disappeared fully because I already knew, I have a calling over my life. I have a purpose. And God gave me this seed for a reason. He chose me to be her mom. And then physically, they thought I was gonna have a heart attack. My heart rate was in sync with hers at resting. So her heart rate was like normally it's like 150, 160, normal. Me, I was exactly the same, and they really thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
Wow.
It was a challenge. Then also I had her in the height of COVID. So in the height of COVID, I couldn't have nobody. I had a whole birth plan. I had a doula. Those are the things that I was looking forward to. Having my doula in the room, having my mom, my dad, her dad, because he was still there. He just wasn't the best, But COVID decided that it just wanted to just shift all of that, and I ended up not being able to give birth with my parents or how I wanted it to go. I actually had they had to be on FaceTime, so that's the sweet part about it. They still were able to be there, but not physically there. So yeah, that's just how my pregnancy went. And then so far up to leading now, it had some challenges of being a mom. You always get that there's like this thing in the back of your head as a mom. I don't know. Well, for me, I don't know about other moms out there, but you always think, am I going to fail my child? Even though you're doing your best and you're striving for what's best for your child, you always get that instinct like, am I going to fail her? Like, especially being so young, I'm just like, I'm still young, I'm still learning myself, but she has literally taught me a lot about my beginning of my young adulthood, so it's just challenges that come with being a mom, but you got to face them for what it is. And I love her and I adore her.
I know. I see all the pictures you post. What would you say has been your biggest struggle as a single mom?
Her dad not being there is like the way he should be. Yeah, that was it's still a challenge for me. But I had to come to a place of acceptance and not expecting a lot. So that's my biggest challenge.
That's your
right
biggest
now.
struggle.
Yeah.
So what would you say, what is the most stressful thing for you as a single mom
Mhm.
struggling with not having her father there?
Financially, I mean, I basically bust my butt to really provide for her the way that she should be provided. I had to make a lot of life decisions. Like I am a breastfeeding mom. I chose that one because there's so many benefits that come out of it, and two, it saves me a lot of money. I don't have to buy formula.
Right.
My formula is right here, so that saved me millions of dollars. And your child always needs something. They're like a bill, literally. So financially, I struggle with trying to continue to provide for her efficiently. Her dad's not a big help. He doesn't really, the way he should. That's pretty much of a struggle. Like everything else, I'm grateful for my support system, because if I didn't have a support system, I would struggle 10 times harder, because there's some really, some moms that are really out there that really, really struggle.
And who's your support system?
My mom and my dad, my family, they support me. It supported me from the day that I called them and told them that I was pregnant. And all the way in Baltimore, I called them and let them know, hey, I'm pregnant. And they supported me from there.
They supported you. So you have that aspect. At least she has her family supporting her, right? Many family will be like, no, you made your bed, you laid on it, figure it out, right?
No, I didn't have that. And I think one of the reasons why I didn't have that is because my mom could relate.
Right.
It wasn't like I was in high school and I was a preteen or a teen. I went to college.
You finished high school.
Yeah, I finished high school, went to college, got some credits under my belt. And I was a young adult, and I made a life decision to lay down, and then I created a child. But my mom was also a young mom. She was 18, so she kind of knew and related to me. So that's why she couldn't give me those type of reactions where you laid in your bed and you created. She didn't give me that. Neither did my dad. So
that's good.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think that when you found out that you were pregnant and you were going through the pregnancy, do you think that it increased your maturity?
Yes, definitely. My maturity level has went up a lot, but I've always been that, like everyone says, I'm an old woman, because I always had that mindset of having a mature lifestyle. Like I've never was that type to be a wild, immature. I have my immature moments, but I pretty much was very mature for my age. So yeah.
So let me ask you something. This is a $1 million question. So I want you all to listen. Before you had your daughter, your relationship with your mom, right? Because when we're just a daughter or the son, when we're the child, we see our parents completely different. They're nagging, they're this, they're that, they're blah, blah, blah.
Is it too tight?
When you became a mother, did you see your mother with different lenses now because you're a mother? Let's be honest.
No, honestly. I
Really?
didn't. Because there, I think my mom, for a lot of the things that she did, like with the nagging, she wasn't really my mom nagged, but when she spoke truth. And
But did you struggle with that? Being a teenager, even though parents tell their children the truth, they don't want to hear it. They may know it's true, but in the back of their mind, like, don't tell me what to do. I'm an adult. I'm going to live my life. Because I know.
Well, in college, where I was mentally, my mom and dad were like, there's a long story behind why. I can't say that. No.
So you don't
because-
think that you see being a mother differently than after you had your child? Like, how has that helped you see and better understand a mother, period, or your mom? Can you now relate to the fact
I
that
can relate to some of the some stuff, but I can't say that because my mom, she was like the person I go to for everything. So I understood, when I wanted to go and ask her questions, and she'll tell me if I was right or wrong. She was never that type, to really nag about certain things that weren't true. So it kind of I could relate to her, but I don't know. There's just some things that I just was like.
so now so right? I know that daughters normally say, I am never going to say that or do that when I have a child.
Yeah,
Now,
I still have some things. Like my parents have. I say this in the sweetest way I can. My parents, I thank them for teaching me some stuff. But there's just some stuff I wouldn't say.
okay, all right.
Just from the back, just from what I've experienced.
What you've learned, what you've witnessed.
Yeah. But my mom was between the two different people. I would say for my dad, he was that type of person. I would say stuff like that too. But my mom, she understood reality. So she wasn't that type to be like, you shouldn't be doing that. Or she'll be like, you shouldn't do that. But, you're going to make your own decision.
Right.
So she was that type of mom. She never was that type. She always gave us room to fall, but she was always there to pick us back up.
That's great.
Yeah, so
would you say that you got a better understanding of mom because of what
she has taught me a lot of things that, I feel like moms should be like,
We have a very energetic visitor here.
She's super energetic.
So, Aleena, what question do you have for Diamond? So we know, right, that you're not a mom yet, but one day, right, in the name of Jesus, you will. So, what are your thoughts in seeing, someone being young and the struggles, and what can you learn? Because we all learn from the older people and from the young people, right? The things, what to do, what not to do, how would I do it different? How can I do it better? How can I learn from it? What would you say in listening to her portion, right? Because she's single, she struggles, she's stressed. It's been scary situations, right? And you all had the COVID at one point, right?
Oh yes, we did. That was very scary.
Did she have it also?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she had it. It was like
Everybody
it was back in
house.
January.
okay.
Yeah, so she had it. The way it showed up in her, it was a little bit more different. She also was teething, so she didn't have really a bad reaction. So she just had stuffy nose. She was energetic, just like she is. She's like this.
She's like, get me off of this. I want to sleep.
That was one of the biggest struggles.
She
too.
slept a lot, or she didn't?
She did. She was very mellow. But she also had spurts of energy, how she would act normally. She would have those types of spurts. She never lost like that. She wasn't she didn't let it bother her as much.
Probably because their immune system is different than an adult.
Mm-hmm. And also, breast milk is key to a lot of stuff. People don't realize it, but
now there's something that you started in regards to that. You feel very strongly about that. Tell us about that.
yeah, Liquid Gold 101. Pray for me because I haven't. I took a step back, but I am working on being a breastfeeding consultant to help young moms, minorities especially. Basically to help normalize breastfeeding, because everybody thinks that there's always there's a stereotype about it, and there's people don't like it, and don't realize that it has so much benefits and long-term benefits that will help. It's a
For her health,
yeah,
right?
health, and for her, learning wise. Breastfed babies are known to be one of the smartest kids that if they're breastfed. So there's just a lot of benefits, and I started a page called Liquid Gold 101.
Liquid what?
Liquid Gold 101.
Liquid Gold.
Yeah.
So it's Liquid Gold 101 for the young moms.
It's on Instagram.
It's on Instagram. Follow her. This is, I don't know. I know she's sharing, but for all the young ladies or even older women that are considering not breastfeeding, it's important for you to breastfeed your child. For their immune system, for different reasons, health reasons. So you want to follow her. I know she has some interesting information. I saw some information there. How long would you consider thinking of breastfeeding her?
As long as you can go.
Really?
Yeah, as long as I can go. She's starting to wean somewhat, so I'm starting to get a little more leniency to do a lot of other stuff. But
is she drinking regular milk as well?
No, she's
wow.
full-time breastfed. And she eats solid food, so I feed on demand. So whenever she's hungry, I just feed her. But yeah, that's.
So how is that going to work when you're working, you go to school?
I pump.
Okay.
Yep. So I also pump. So I store some milk. So I leave some milk to school for her school. And they've worked with breastfed babies, so they kind of are familiar with how their schedules would be. She's not necessarily on a schedule, but she eats when she wants. But now, because she's getting older, she's starting to have more gaps to eating times.
So Aleena, you were going to ask a question?
Yeah, and it may seem, and yeah, I'm going to ask you, what would you have done different?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you told your parents and through your pregnancy and all that kind of stuff? Looking back on it now, what would you say? I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I could have done this different, stuff like that.
Okay, so there's a lot I could have done differently. I could have, learned how to just accept, learned a better way to accept what my situation was.
And not put yourself through that.
Yeah, and not engage in a lot of things. But human wise, it was a challenge to be able to do that because
you don't expect that.
Yeah. So, but I knew, being the person, my background and being where I came from, I knew better. I knew that there's some things that I shouldn't have just engaged in as far as, when it's dealing with or communicating with him.
The father.
Yeah.
The sperm donor. Let's just call it what it is. The sperm donor.
Pretty much.
The sperm donor.
He's there. He's just not doing he thinks he should be doing.
Do you think that maybe he's not as mature as he needs to be yet?
Well, this is not his
first baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not his first baby. This is his second, and I think, and I strongly believe, I also had to learn that we come from two different backgrounds. Mm-hmm. My family, I come from a two family household. He doesn't. Mm-hmm. So that plays a part too. When all you know is your mom, that's all you're gonna, and I know my parents, and I had a mom and a dad, so I was used to that. And that's what, you long for that for your child. Yeah. And not saying, I had to be together. I just want to come to a terms where we can co-parent. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Co-parenting is where I stand because mentally and physically I'm no longer there. I just can't.
Okay, I'm sorry. He's not a donor. He's the baby's daddy.
But
Dilemma over here saying no. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, he's there. There's just some things that I wish he could do better as a father, knowing that this is your second child, not your first, your second. And you just don't expect that. Like although whatever your background is, like your father might have not been there, but you want to be, you should want to be better than what you came back, your background is.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
Okay.
But it doesn't
Sometimes it doesn't work like that, or it takes a little longer.
And to be honest, in all due honesty, it takes men longer to process this being a father, because the truth is, honestly, when I was married and I was already 28, and I was married, and I told my husband at the time, my daughter's father, that I was pregnant. He struggled with it. He struggled with, am I going to be able to provide? Am I going to be able to be good enough? Am I going to, he didn't have a full-time job yet. He was looking for a full-time job, and he struggled with that. How am I going to be a father and not have a house for her, or a full-time job, full-time benefits? So I think that a lot of times for men, they struggle with that, and instead of doing something forward, right, like to encourage them, they kind of freeze.
Yeah.
Because it happened with my daughter's father. I mean, he was a great provider. He worked very hard, and he's been an amazing provider to my daughter. And I thank God for that. He's always been there for her when needed. But I think a lot of men struggle with that, especially being very young. And a lot of times, unfortunately, when you are not, when you don't have your dad there, you don't know how to be a dad. My husband can honestly say, his father was not there for them when they were teenagers or getting older. He started another family, right? He was with another family, but that was kind of hard for my husband. And we're not speaking about fathers, but the truth is, we are now. But the truth is that he didn't know how to be a father because his father wasn't there for him. You know what I mean?
And that's why I had to learn compassion.
Grace, right?
Yes, because that's something from, not talking about from before, because before I was just thinking about myself. And you can call me selfish, but when you're pregnant and you got so many hormones and emotions, you just want what you want, when you want it, how you want it, and that's just that.
Yeah.
But now where I am learning myself and learning, another level of maturity, because you never stop growing,
right?
So I'm growing. A lot of doors has opened up for me, and I begin to be able to see better and clear. And I learned the word compassion. I had to learn that there's some things that he hasn't experienced that I've experienced, and that my background. I'm grateful for my background, because now it can teach him how to be, but I can't be the one to teach him. He has to teach himself. But I could show him.
You can guide
him
by your actions.
Yeah.
And and hopefully, I'm looking at the phone, because I know that there's some people making comments here. And thank you for joining us. Keep sharing, keep inviting. A lot of young women need to hear this. And one of the things that Miss Glamour, who's watching, Grace, because the truth is that I know I made that comment about a sperm donor, but the truth is that we do need to have grace, and everybody. It's not just men; it's all of us. We need to have grace, and not just grace. It's really about what's the best way for this child. Having him be there, whether he's the greatest or not. The hope and the goal is that one day he'll be the father that she should deserve.
And that's what, that's one of the top things. I get a lot of people who ask me, why don't you just, cut them off, or why don't you just, tell them science rights. I've had moments where I would speak those things, but my heart never was true to that. Like I can't take that from her.
No, absolutely
Because
not.
at the end of the day, she's gonna see who's there for her and who's not.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna have to tell her,
Right.
you know. But also, I can't be bitter. That's just not the type of person I am. I've never been a bitter person. You know, I've felt moments where I would be like, all right, you know, I'm starting to feel that I'm getting, you know, I'm beginning to get into my flesh, and you know, I don't want my heart to turn hard. I don't want that. So I keep a level of a better headspace so that I can be able to allow him to have that opportunity for him to be better, because you know, I think he can be better. He's a really good, if when he wants to be, he can be a really great dad. And I don't think he understands that, you know, financially I'm not asking for nothing. I just want you to cherish my child as much as I do and realize
His child. It's his
Yeah.
child too.
So, you know, those are the that's where my heart stands, and that's where my I don't feel like money gets you. I mean, you need money to continue to provide, but you know, your child also longs for love. And you know, I'm gonna be really real, and this is real. You know, I had my dad for 21 years, still have him to this day. But you know, we're just now coming to terms, being able to have a better relationship. And I've always longed for my dad's relationship, but because I was so hard and had like a hard heart, and I just couldn't see past nothing else,
Past your pain.
yes, that's when I wasn't able to really allow a relationship. And I don't want that for her, you know. I want her to have that opportunity as much as I wanted it for myself. You know, it hurt me having a dad in a house with you and you barely even talk, or when you talk, it's arguments. Like, I don't want that, you know. So that's where I want to better me and better, you know, and let that relationship stem from each other.
And that's very mature of you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of, like you said, a lot of other unmature people would have that kind of attitude. You know what? Forget him. Don't bother. Don't have him be in her life. And, you know, my husband and I, we ended up separating, getting a divorce. And I always wanted to make sure that he was a part of her life. Like, that was important. And that his family was a part of my daughter's life. So although at the beginning, he was angry and bitter with me, and his family were somewhat also, I still called him. I still made sure that it was important to me for my daughter to have that relationship with him and his family, well, more with his family as well. And I would always call him every week and make sure that, you know, Kayla, talk to your grandmother, talk to your aunts and your cousins, build that relationship with them. I would talk to them, even though they would rarely talk to me. They were mad at me. But, you know, to this day, I'm very grateful to God that God gave me that heart. Because the truth is that my daughter's extremely close to them.
Yeah.
Had I not done that, that wouldn't have happened, because she has other cousins that, come here, baby. She has other cousins that don't, the parents didn't do that. And so, you know, they're not close to the family. They love them, but they're not close.
Right.
Whereas my daughter's very close with her family.
Right.
And I'm very grateful to God for that.
Yeah.
Because her father saw that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can't say that I took that away. And I never wanted that away from her. You know, that's her family. That's her dad. Good, bad, or indifferent. And like your mom says, love wins, Delita. Aleena, do you have any other questions? Aleena's getting her experience here today, you know. Look at her. We need to take a picture of this. This is great. Aleena, you never know. Look at this.
Right.
You like Aleena? Right? She's great. She's going to be a great mama one day. Yes. Yes. What else? So if you saw a young mom today, and what would you speak to her if you saw that she was in a relationship that perhaps would not be very healthy or was not, you know, what would you tell a young lady? If you had a group of young ladies, what testimony would you share with them? The good, the not so good, what they should not do to prevent, you know, what would you share to the young adults, right? or teenagers?
Well, in reality, I mean, wear a condom. That's number one.
Wear a condom.
But you know, it sometimes life takes you different directions, and you know, the cards that you allow to be dealt to you, you just gonna have to walk through and know that you aren't alone, and there's many people out there that have similar stories, and that can attest to what you are going through. But
what helped you through your depression?
I had to dig my way up out of there because I was just stuck. Honestly, I had to.
What would you tell a young lady that was in depression?
I would tell them to find things to help your self-worth, and
Like
find your self-worth. Like I got my hair done. I went, started trying to get back into reading, finding scriptures, praying, meditating, finding things that made me feel like I was happy.
Alive again.
Yeah. So just, finding things that you enjoy to do.
Finding yourself, right? Because you got lost. Yeah. And a lot of times we get lost as mothers. So even whether you're single or not, we do get lost sometimes. There's a lot of women that go through postpartum. Did you go through that? That could cause depression after you have a child. Or did you rejoice when you had your baby?
It was a mixture. I had some highs and some lows. I had to really, honestly, sometimes you don't really see what's postpartum depression because it comes in many forms in different ways. But there was moments where I would find myself like I really didn't. I was very selfish sometimes with my child, and that was part of like I held her tight because I was trying to protect her like that. And I don't think some people didn't realize it, but I knew. I had to learn how to ease up sometimes. That I felt was a lot of my depression because I didn't really want nobody to really
hurt her.
Yeah.
Because you have been through so much of it.
Yeah. And I knew they wouldn't because they loved her just as much as I did. But I never went, like, there's some moms that say they go through where, like, they don't want to bother with baby. I didn't have those moments. I really found joy. She actually changed my life. She was actually the reason why I got out of depression because the moment she came out the womb, I was just like, wow. And it's crazy. Your child feels everything when you're pregnant.
Yes.
So, she's so happy. I was so depressed.
And she's so beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. So, and it was crazy because every time I would get into a place of like just start crying, she knew what to do. She would move, and it would just like it made me feel like I wasn't like really alone, even though I know I'm not alone because God's with me through everything. But physically, I knew she was there, and she knew, and she came out literally smiling at 2 weeks. So.
That's a blessing.
Yeah. So, those just moments like that, God shows you like there's a reason to live,
Mm-hmm. So if a young mom said to you, I have this situation going on, a young girl, I mean, I have this situation going on and it's similar to yours, what would you tell her?
I was, I would be raw and transparent. Like, it's tough. But you gotta keep going. You gotta, just gotta keep going. That's what I would just say. And I would tell her, if you ever need a prayer partner, I'm here. A mentor, I'm here.
Do you think this is something you would like to do and help other young ladies?
Yeah, I'm already in the works of doing. God gave me a lot. This is why the path
Revelation.
Yes.
It's
this
okay.
is confirmation.
She's like, let me just be free. Let me just be wild and free here. That's it. I don't want that in my head. Mm-hmm.
He's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, there's a lot that he has revealed to me that I am going to be releasing eventually. But
Do you think you'll be releasing a book?
What's crazy is God gave me that already. It gave it to me in prophecies. He gave it to me.
There you go, confirmation.
Yeah, it's just confirmation. So yeah, eventually.
So I think there, honestly, there's a lot of books from adults, but I think there should be more books on young adults,
Yeah.
teenagers, because to be able to,
They'll be able to articulate exactly
Right.
what is another young person is feeling.
Come here, baby.
Yeah.
Alina, do
Because-
you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Go ahead.
I think most of my questions were answered because while she was talking, I was wondering how did you recognize that you were depressed? And then you said you had all those clothes and all that kind of stuff.
I was
But-
really nasty. I was
Okay.
really nasty.
So it was totally different from your regular behavior. You said.
Yeah, it was like a really like shit. Like it shifted a
Mhm.
lot. I'm a really sweet person. I could be mean, but I knew that I was really like, nasty. There was explosive moments. I would cry all the time. I already cry a lot, but I cried more. It was like to the point where it's like, where do you get these tears from? You done cried them all out. But yeah, I was extremely depressed.
How did your parents react? Because were you at home during this time?
Mhm.
How did your parents react to this depression, these slew of emotions that you had?
We had moments. Wasn't sure. You couldn't when you're depressed, you can't see past
Right.
a lot of things.
Yeah.
They've tried to help me. It was just like I wasn't really wanting to help.
Mhm.
Because I was just so seeped in and
Mhm.
just like, ugh. Everything they did, it just bothered me.
Yeah. Like somebody
Which-
chewing, breathing.
Yeah, like it's just everything. It's
Yeah.
just like, please. Like even down to my middle sister. She's 18 months apart from me, and we're like this,
Mhm.
and I couldn't stand her.
Uh-huh.
So you knew like there was a reason. Like we had fallouts when I was pregnant.
Okay.
So
And how is it now?
we don't have fallouts like that.
So you would tell someone out there that, look, it's gonna get better, right?
yeah, eventually you gotta make it better though. You can't keep getting caught up in sync.
And the pity party.
Mm-mm.
I got a question for you, Michelle.
Yeah.
She was talking about depression and all that kind of stuff. Did you go through that
No.
postpartum nothing?
I was happy being pregnant. I was happy when she was born. When my daughter, I was very, very happy. I just,
Here you go.
I was really happy. But again, I was older too. I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm 20. I'm gonna be 29 years old, right? Yeah, I was ready to be a mama.
So
And-
what was your plan? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What was your plan like before you got pregnant and all that kind of stuff? What was your initial plan for your life? Like, hey, I'm gonna get married at 25. I'm gonna have kids and all that, something like that. Did you have plans?
I was just in school.
Mhm.
Did I have a plan? Yeah, my plan was to finish school, go to college, try to, go get through college at Morgan State University in Baltimore. I wanted to be married by 25. I'm only 21, so
She's a
it's
baby.
that time.
She's a baby.
I wanted 4 kids, but I don't want no more.
Well, not
Not
now.
right now.
Not now.
No,
But she's gonna be like her mama. 4 kids.
I wanted 4,
You
but
don't.
I would have one more if I ever had another one. But no.
You never know because you're very young. If you met, when the Lord brings you the right man, the godly man that's going to help you with the child, that is going to provide for your child, you may want to be like, okay, maybe we can do another one or another one. And another one.
No, I'm good with 2
Yeah.
max. That's it. But I still want to travel. I still want to do that stuff. Even though I'm grateful that I'm able to do a lot of the things that I've done so far. She has experienced a lot, but
At her little age.
yes.
So, what was I gonna say? Are you grateful to be? I know this may sound silly, but I know that some young adults will be like, "No, I wish I would have never slept with this person or had a child, right?
No, I don't have those thoughts. I'm grateful, so grateful, because this goes back to, I don't like to put a lot of business out there, but
No, but
the-
it's real, raw, and
raw.
transparent.
Yeah,
right?
so
And another thing I want you to know, and we always say this, we're not here trying to bash anybody or criticize anybody. I know I made a silly comment about being, earlier, and I take that back because, God has a plan and a purpose. He chooses, the father and the mother, and we have to honor that, right?
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Because honestly, our real father is, our Abba Father, and he's the one we have to go to. And he's our father, he's our provider, he's our protector. And so the word tells us, to go to him for everything, that he knit us in our womb, in our mother's womb, right? So he's the one that knit her in your womb.
Well, I could go back to when I came home one day I came home from Baltimore to visit my family because I think it was Thanksgiving break, but I went to a church service.
Thank you.
I think it was Sean Brown or somebody Brown, his last name, but he was a prophet and he came and he prophesied to me and to my family, that I was an insurance package. So
That you're an insurance package,
Mhm.
meaning?
and that there was there's a reason why
Right.
I have something to bring to the table, basically. So I've looked at it as
She's it.
yeah. So
Really? Really, Delita? Glamour? Are we having this here happening at home? Is Glamour on the other side? Yes, she spoils you. I know she does. Now, what would you say? Do you think it's a good thing for grandmothers to spoil their children, their grandchildren?
my mom does this thing now where she knows how to make her fake cry. So I don't know.
Are you serious right now? Are we doing this? Are we trying to get back to the daughter for something? No, I'm just kidding. I think that grandparents are
I
they're gonna
expected it though.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
they're gonna do for their grandkids what they wouldn't do for their own, right?
Yep.
Or maybe they did it with their kids too. But remember, we are to educate, right? To discipline the children, not spoil them. We don't want them to be like, really? Are we having this conversation?
Okay. Yeah.
How about if you talk over here to the
Talk.
people? Talk over there. Look, talk over there.
What?
What are you saying?
She's like, there's nobody there.
What are you saying?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're here just hanging around with dessert before dinner. LOL.
My mom. Was that my mom?
Yes, of course. So let me just ask you, we're talking about moms and the struggles, and a lot of women go through a lot of depression. I know that when I was younger, I used to say, I want to be a mom at 20. Don't ask me why. I would say I want to be married and be a mom at 20. And then when I was 20, I said I want to be a mom and married at 25. And then when I was 25, I said, no, I want to be a mom and married when I'm 30. And so it happened, I got married at 28, had my daughter at 29. And no, I was not pregnant. I got married and then 3 months later conceived. But he did freak out. And we were grown adults.
Mm-hmm.
So again, going back to this, the father, a lot of men don't know what to do and how to deal with it, right? Okay, let me ask, the church versus young unwed mom. How do you feel about that?
About not being married?
Right, well about the church.
Wait.
So, okay, hold on. Let me see, what other questions you
I
have?
think I get what they're asking.
So not being.
How did church react to you being
Oh.
unwed and pregnant?
I can't even speak that my church, they were very accepting actually. I wasn't even embarrassed. And, you know, I've gotten people that come up to me with like, I'm so glad you didn't stop going to church. You know, that's what kept me going. You know, there was moments where I'd be like, I wasn't even ashamed, honestly. I couldn't say that I was ashamed. You know, some moms are like, you get to that place, young people, that be like, oh, I shouldn't have got pregnant, or I shouldn't this, or you know, people are gonna hate me, or they're gonna look at me different. I never had that. That never bothered me. I never really cared what people say about me, because I always know I was different from a lot of people. So, when I was in the church, they were very welcoming. They looked at me like I was regular, normal people, because, you know,
Because
the life
we
that
are.
I live, you know, there's a lot of people that do it. So, you know, you can't just say my sin is
Different
greater.
than-
Yeah,
right.
you know, so.
We all fall short. We
Yeah.
all fall short. And so the truth is, you know, being a mom is wonderful. It's a blessing. There is a lot of struggle, whether you're single or not. You know, there is struggle with the fathers, whether you're married or not. Because, you know, you could be married and still struggle. The father could still not be there the way he needs to, you know, the way we would like him to be, right? So being a mom is a blessing. But, you know, I think that for you, it just helped you to make some decisions and know, like, okay, I need to be more serious about my life. Not that I wasn't before.
I'm grateful that, honestly, in this, I'm not condoning y'all have kids at a young age, but I'm grateful for my life, the way I'm walking right now, that I had a baby. You know, I was 20 when I gave birth. I'm grateful because
It helped you.
it helped me, and also I can connect a lot of how the generations, like if I was older, you know, I see a lot of older parents, they really don't have that connection. You know, they're more wise, you know, I can give her both, you know, because I can see, you know, I'm in the generation too. I'm able to teach her and show her and not be her best friend, because I'm not her best friend. I'm her mother.
Say that again.
I'm not her best friend. I'm her mother. Yeah. So there's just a level of there's a good and a bad that comes out of it. You know, I'm young and my life kind of got rerouted. That's like not. I wouldn't say that's the bad thing, because it's really not that. I mean, it just what life. What happened? Yeah.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
You know, your mom said something really, really powerful last week, and it really touched some hearts in here. And not only here, but it touched some hearts with the viewers as well. And she said, you know, don't look at yourself as being a single mom, because a lot of women are ashamed of being a single mother or not being married. They struggle with that. I took them off because I love to play with feet.
Okay.
I took her socks off because I love to play with feet. I'm gonna smell them all up in a minute. But
I remember what she said.
you remember?
Yeah, she said that you have a village. In that sense, you have a village. You have parents. You have friends. You have everybody around you who's helping you to be a parent. So therefore, you're not a single parent,
Right.
Yeah.
And don't be ashamed of it, because you know
that's what kind of brought me like to a place where I was never ashamed. I can't say there was one moment where I felt ashamed. Even down to my grandmother. My grandmother called me when the moment she found out I was pregnant. She said, "Oh, I'm telling everybody." She was like, "Cause I'm excited." You know, that made me feel good.
Yeah.
That made me feel like
not
I
ashamed,
didn't have
not
to be
hurt,
ashamed.
not
Yeah.
And even down to my mom.
That
Like
you
she never made me feel like I was
any less. To be ashamed.
I just never had that I honestly didn't care. I don't really care what people say either. You know, people have their own opinions, and you know, I've had family members, you know, try to get at me, but you can't change what already happened, you know, and I don't believe in abortion. So, you know, I believe that God had blessed me for a reason, and yeah, so and
you know what, honestly, you know, to the single moms out there that have felt that, I want to say,
you're not alone.
You're not alone. Not only that you're not alone, but that child has really saved you. It's saving you from making, you know, other wrong decisions, or saving you to choose to make wiser decisions. You know, I've known of quite a few single women that had children, and that child saved them.
Yeah, she saved me.
It really saved their life. So, we plan one thing, God has another plan. And the Bible tells us so, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it's God's plan that prevails. And we just need to trust the process. We may not like it. We may not understand it. Being a mom is a beautiful blessing, but let's be real. It comes with its challenges, just like anything else. Whether you're a mom or not, we're going to go through challenges. We wanted to bring, Diamond here so that she can share, her part, her story, as far as, your mom is so cute. She's saying that's my best friend. And she also said, dessert before dinner. She's too funny. I love you, Delita. She is awesome, and the fact that, she can relate to what you're going through in every aspect, because, it happened to her as well. She can be there for you. She can be there for so many other young ladies.
And one thing that just sticks out too, before we close, my grandmother, with that same conversation, this sticks out to me a lot, because she said, "You beat me." She was saying, as far as my age, she had a pregnancy young too, so she that stuck out to me, because that didn't matter to her, my age and me being young, or me not having everything fully right, the way that, because you're never really prepared to have a kid. It's just, you never, even down to married people, it's a lot of anxiety, it's a lot of stress, it's, you just have children, and that's what we're created to do, is have children. Because even, and then she also said, back then, a lot of old, women that all they did was carry children and stay home with their kids. So, she was like, why is it now such a big deal? That's why she can't look at it as such a big deal.
It's great that you had that support from both your grandmother and your mom.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of families would not have that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
I know, Aleena, your family would not. I know my family would not. And it's unfortunate, because you think they would?
Yeah, my family will be okay with it, especially my sisters. All of my sisters. They'll be like, okay, another one to spoil.
So, I think there's so many people so much full of pride,
Yeah, that's what it is too. Ego, pride, and not understanding. And that's mostly why I want to talk to a lot of young women, because I've had friends that would be like, oh my goodness, your mom didn't kill you. My mom would kill me. And when parents speak those type of things, they don't understand. Those things hurt.
They traumatize you.
Yeah, they hurt, and you can't just put that over their life. The power,
right?
Life or death. So you can't speak those things over your children. And sometimes there's a lot of other things that we should be fighting. And I'm not saying kids go and have children, but there's just certain things you can't. If you disagree, you disagree, but you can't do with things that you don't have control over. You just have to walk through life with them. And that's why I want to help a lot of the young girls, because that's how they fall into depression when their parents, because they expect their parents to push them and help them. Not saying that they have to take the responsibility, because that's not what it is. You, just like you say, you laid in your bed and now you got to make it.
They're just looking for the
support.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a lot of people that just like, I wish I had your support. I wish, my parents supported me. Even down to the moms that would take their kids to the clinic and be like, yeah, that scars. You got to realize it scars your child, and that's where I want to be able to speak life into people and let them know that, you're not alone. Thanks be to God, I had the greatest support system. Although there's times where I would have like moments and there'll be hiccups, but there's always those moments. But yeah, I just want to be able to give that light to them and know that, they're not alone. So
And that's great. You know, honestly, I have to confess something. This has been really good for me because you helped me see something in a different perspective than I would have probably 5 years ago. You know, God forbid anything happened to my daughter. I don't know how and I have to be honest, I don't know how I would have been.
Of course, it's an adjustment.
It's an adjustment, and I think I'd probably have the same. I don't know. I probably have the same thought my parents. Oh my God, what is my family gonna think? You know. I remember when my daughter had her accident. You know, I didn't matter to me what they said, but I was like, wow. So many people criticized my daughter. They talked about her. They judged her. They persecuted, and that was just an accident. Another kind of accident, a car accident, right? That if this were ever to happen to her, I can't even fathom what they would say. But the truth is, why should I even care, right? So
and I
wanna
think that's
thank
why
you.
a lot of people get caught up in what is other people gonna think. They're not living your life.
Right.
That's my mindset. I don't care, and it's just like I used to care back in high school. Like, oh yeah, I would probably get killed or whatever. But I had to come to terms with myself. Like, I don't care what people think about me. Especially, I've just always had that mindset. I never was truly sensitive about words, choices of words. And if I was, I would just hold them and continue to live the life and show them that your words is not going to affect me because I'm still going to get what's mine, you know? So, you know, and I get it. As a mom, like, I understand you wouldn't be able to swallow that pill. That's a hard pill to swallow, but, you know, it's reality. Sometimes you just got to take a step back, you know? Sometimes being quiet, and that's what my mom did too. She was quiet. You know, when I called her and I cried, I was bawling my eyes out. I said, "You guys are gonna hate me. You're not gonna like me." Da, da, da. I said all those words. But because of the comforting she gave me, she said, "You know, it's crazy. My mom already knew I was pregnant before I knew I was pregnant. She had a dream of fish. She wrote it down July 11th in her notes, conception date. So,
Wow.
you know, it's, you know, your mom already knows, but you know, when you don't have, also comes from your background too. If you don't have that connection or, you know, that support or not even, you know, there's some parents out there that don't take their time to really get to know their child. And that, you know, sometimes, you know, I'm grateful that my mom took her time. She, you know, she was all up in our business. And I'm grateful.
You hear
for
that?
her.
Maybe we have to be all up in our children's business.
You know, so
Your mom says everything we endure is an opportunity to trust God and point others to Jesus. You're right. You are so right.
So yeah, see, she'll tell you that's just how she talks, literally. So that's why it's comforting. Sometimes it gets tiring because we're like, all right, mom, we know. But we're so thankful for it. Like, I'm so thankful for her because I wouldn't be where I was today, you know, if I didn't have that person in my ear, like, to tell me, you're gonna be all right, you know. So
thank you for joining us.
No problem.
Thank you, Miss Callie Nova.
Got everything everywhere.
She's got everything everywhere. Our special
Especially
Nosy Rosie, your mom says. We thank you, Miss Glamma. We thank you. What happened?
Look, wave to Gigi.
Wait to Gigi. Say hi. Over
she's
there.
not gonna see
Look.
Gigi.
Look. You see yourself on TV? You see?
Yay.
You see yourself over there? You see yourself over there? We have a baby in the house. Anyways, I am Michelle.
I'm Diamond.
And I'm Aleena.
And together we are
Together we are
one.
one.
Remember, you're not alone in whatever situation you're going through. We're going to be posting some information. We're going to tag you on Diamond's page. And Diamond, if someone had any questions or wanted to be in touch with you because they were in a similar situation, would it be okay for them to contact you?
Oh,
If they had any questions and a young mom?
Yeah, I'm very I'm very vocal, so yes, of course.
So if you would like to speak to her because perhaps you have a daughter in the same situation, or you want to speak to her mom because your mom going through the same thing, I'm sure my sister Delita would not mind speaking to you and just sharing some points with you, because I can't honestly say that I can relate to it because unless I've gone through it, right? And so we want to be honest. Remember, we're all about being real, raw, and transparent. And here's the other baby of the house. And so we want to thank you for joining us. Next Friday at 7:30, we're going to have another guest speaker. And remember, this month is all about moms. We know that being a mom is one of the most beautiful gifts God has given us. It has truly, it is a blessing. And remember, Delita says something, we all give birth to something greater. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a child. Giving birth is giving birth to a ministry, to a new business. There's different ways of giving birth to something greater. So you can be a loving, caring mom to anybody, anywhere. Thank you for joining us. See you next Friday at 7:30. Have a good night. God bless you. And have a fantastic week. Have a great weekend.
Good night.
Good night. Where it says end. Oh, honey. Okay, we're going to do this. Here we go.
There you go.